Well, hi again. I was just here presenting on the master plan not too long ago at the SWAT. I don't remember if y'all were there, but that was a really great meeting and now has formed into this 2026 LPRF application. So throughout this application, there are different requirements by the state, and I know most of y'all are still familiar from the 2020 application, but tonight we're going to give you an overview of what this 2026 LPRF grant application covers. And we're open to any feedback. There's comment cards back there. But yeah, we just wanted to share with you the overall scope and outline. I will say, so I edited the slides just a little bit for tonight's format. So you can see the text is a different color and it's larger, so y'all can see it. And then I also changed the order a little bit. The slides are the same, they're just towards the end or in a different order that makes more sense for the narrative of existing site conditions and then what we're proposing. So um, I'll let y'all get settled in. And Amy, if you want to pass this out to that gentleman who's walked in as well. Okay, so that's the high level overview. There are about, you'll see 20 slides. So I will try to get through this as quickly as possible and not put y'all to sleep. And then I'll open it up to any questions at the end. But let's dive in, no pun intended there. So population overview, part of this presentation is we have to look at demographics of the current community, and then we'll dive into the existing site conditions, the goal of this presentation or this grant throughout this presentation, and then we'll dive into the site. So we'll get through the high level demographics now. There is 17 acres of parkland, and as y'all know, it's just at City Park. And Hartsville and Trousdale County is growing very quickly, and the average age is about 34.9, and the household data is about 21.8% are households with children under 18 years old living in the household. And a lot of families, the average family size is 3.06. So this county, as y'all know, is a place to be for, there's a lot of young families moving to Trousdale County. So that'd be really important to strategically plan City Park and try to get y'all some grant funding to expand your facilities. So again, this might be a reiteration of what Amy presented on at the last meeting, but the programming opportunities that this grant application will provide for these programming is health and fitness, social interaction, improving safety and education, and an increase in economic impact. As y'all know, the pool loses about 30K every year, and it's also the only public pool in the county. As well as if the pickleball courts and tennis courts are resurfaced, that's also adding to the lifespan of the existing facilities. So y'all are taking what you already have and improving upon it versus expanding out. So staying within existing facilities and expanding that lifespan. The About 19.2% of Hartsville and Truesdale County's population is under 18, as I mentioned before. So this will offer a safer space, a more productive space for the youth as well. I know during the Parks Master Plan, as y'all will remember, there's a big gap in programming for teens and seniors. And this pool improvement and the restriping of the tennis and pickleball courts, with the senior center being right across the street, will offer a revitalized space that people will want to go to and spend time at. So goals for this project, we just went over that, but this is higher level overview of that. I won't reiterate what I just said. Funding. So this is a 50-50 grant, and the 50-50 comes from the way that the county is ranked, and y'all are not at risk or distressed, which is good. But that means it'll be a 50-50 split between local match and the state. Suitability. I know I highlighted on this a little bit, but really hammering the point home of these are two existing facilities. So you're not, as we said, this is the only park in the county, and you're reusing the space that you already have. So that's great. It's not like the state will look at this and say, well, they're expanding out. You guys are trying to be very intentional about your updates. And it's also centrally located in the county, and it's well known. It is the park, and it's also right next to an existing LPRF that was just completed not too long ago for the playground. So really expanding upon and building upon the development and what word am I looking for? The improvements that you've already funneled into this park, basically. So as we know, this was just this was in the most recent approved Parks and Rec master plan. So the county has thought about this and being very strategic with the funding of this project. Uh, This is a very long slide. So I know Amy touched on this in this last meeting, but it is the State Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. So just like you guys completed your Parks and Rec Master Plan update, the state essentially did a Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And that's what the SCORP is. And in that, they made a whole bunch of goals and initiatives and that they want to see implemented statewide. And we're essentially telling the state right now, this project will touch upon two of those goals. And they really only asked for one in the application. So it's great that this, and I'm sure it'll hit on more essentially, but we're just picking out two that we feel like it really highlights in this. And that's inclusivity, diversity, equity, access, and affordability, one of those points. And that comes with increasing the access to the pool by increasing the ADA accessibility there. And then the second one is improve long-term capacity and effectiveness of resource management efforts and programs in all of the public and private conservation agencies. So that is a very long-winded way of saying you guys are reinvesting in the resources that you already have. You know how much staff that you have for these facilities. You are fully aware of the programs that are working in your community. And you're saying, we want to take these outdated facilities that are bleeding in a better, lack of a better term, with losing 30K in maintenance and upkeep every year, with the leaking and all of the other outdated different pieces of it. You're putting back into that and making it more modern. This would also improve the high efficiency equipment. So significantly reducing the electric bill, basically, and the maintenance long term. 3-year timeline. Yes, this is an aggressive timeline, but we also know that you're not going to be stuck in a really long permitting process that we can foresee. Yes, this is a floodplain, so there will be that permitting, and it could potentially disturb more than an acre. We don't know that at this time, but you're not building a kayak launch, for example, that's going to need a very, very long permitting process. So yes, it is a very aggressive timeline, but overall, the grant timeline is 3 years with the state. So there is wiggle room there, but we like to show that aggressive timeline there. Design elements. So resurfacing the 2 existing tennis courts, and then a complete pool complex renovation. And then a piece of this, so 15% of the overall grant fund goes towards the A&E design and grant administration, which is really nice. The state will pay for, the architectural and engineering and grant administration work that goes into this versus the county having to pay out of pocket. And again, I know you have already been through this process, so but just a great reiteration there that this grant does cover that. So walk you through the existing site conditions. This is the existing pool, as y'all know, and these are the existing tennis courts. And then this is the preliminary site plan that we just completed in the Parks and Rec master plan process. We had those big boards up during the open house. So I hope everybody has had a chance to look at that concept, but it is in the Parks master plan if anyone wants to check it out. And this scope features these two pieces that are right next to each other. So again, I mentioned permitting earlier, but that is really great because that's a lot less site disturbance when it comes to construction. There will likely have to be some ADA parking lot improvements, providing an ADA stall depending on existing site conditions. We didn't go out and take a level to the site yet, so we don't exactly know if maybe we need to put one or two stalls in there, similar to the playground, but the playground being so close, potentially that could be avoided, but I don't want to speak to that quite yet. But again, those being so close to one another really reduces on the overall impact of construction. And then part of this TDEC requires there to be a component plan, so showing what it could look like without it being clip art. This is not clip art. This is generally an L-shaped pool there. I know there's a zero entry component to this, so showing that zero entry piece and then the space for seats around it. And then some resurfaced tennis courts. These have pickleball on them as well, which is an option with this if you decide to restripe and provide both tennis and expand your pickleball offerings as like basically a 2-for-1. And then we also have to walk through, again, this is requirements from the state, so bear with me. I know y'all know where the site is, but anybody listening, this is being recorded at home, wants to know some context where this is. This is the project location, again, centrally located in the county. This is the topographic map. As we know, both are already developed and it's pretty flat. And then site vicinity map. And then that's it. Thank you so much for bearing with me through that presentation. I will pop this back over to the site plan and then I'll open this up to Q&A. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. One thing, county courts talked about the old swings, repurposing them and putting them throughout the park.
That would be really nice. It's like the high school, they just.
Yes.
At the Parks Committee, we've discussed, I guess, as part of the overall thing of this. Of course, the current pool, there's not a lot of space around it for families to set up, whatever, and that was one thing we had looked about, trying to expand that, where people, families could have, more tables, more area around. I guess that's probably something I think we would like to see included if possible.
Absolutely. Yes. And again, this is just a very high level concept plan. Once the county is awarded this grant and A&E starts, that's when everything is kind of refined. But that is a really great comment and input right there. And then I'll also encourage you guys, I'm taking notes here, but also write down some comments too on your way out so I can scan them in and upload them to the grant application as well. Yes.
And more land or so all this stuff and then
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Shade pavilions would be nice too. And it could also, for safety with UV rays, we now know all ages need shade, but families with young kids and then the older, we're becoming a bedroom community and we would like to draw in, it not just be for teenagers, be for the whole county.
Yeah, absolutely. Bike racks. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take note of that. I know we can't add that. That won't be part of this grant, but it is a good note for the park. To my knowledge, correct. Yes.
Um, uh, Parks and Rec has already authorized that process should be starting in this probably sometime in the spring. We don't have an exact timeline yet, but that was what Cliff told us at the last meeting.
Any other comments? Questions? Okay. Perfect. Again, if you have any comments or questions, write them down. I've I've taken notes. Amy has taken notes. But feel free to fill out a comment card. Please sign in, show the state that we had this tonight and y'all are here. And then this is recorded and will be posted online to serve as the second public meeting for the grant application. And so people will be commenting and we'll be screenshotting that and uploading it with the grant. But other than that, thank you all so much for coming out on this very snowy Monday evening and making this very painless. I appreciate it.